Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 1946 Ford Super Deluxe station wagon. Now this was part of the 1941 Ford range, which was initially produced from 1941 to February 1942. However, civilian production was halted due to World War II, but it resumed in July 1945, lasting until 1948 when it was eventually replaced by the more modern 1949 Fords. And several body styles were available, including the two-door coupe, two-door convertible, two-door pickup, two-door or four-door sedan, and this station wagon. This station wagon easily being the most practical of the lot. And its all-wood body style seen here was phased out when the 1941 successor came about. So really rather a landmark car for Ford, this, in that it is the last of the all-wood body versions. And like I said, easily the most practical of the body styles in this 1941 range, because you've got 3 bench seats, meaning you can get 8 passengers plus the driver in. So yeah, it's verging on the size of a minibus really in terms of the amount of passengers it can get. And being a more ordinary car from the time, you don't have all that much in the way of luxury on the interior, but everything that you could expect from an ordinary car at the time is here, as you can see. So I'm sure it would be more than comfy enough at the time to carry your family around or whatever. But yeah, plenty of room in the back there, you can see in terms of leg room, massive amounts of space, and then a decent amount of space and leg room for the rear seats, and a decent sized boot as well, considering you got a big bench seat right there as well. So really rather practical. And you could get 3 different engines with this car. You could get a 3.7 litre inline 6 or a 3.6 litre V8, both of which produce 90 horsepower. But in this version we got the 3.9 litre V8 producing 100 horsepower and 180 pounds-feet of torque, which is fairly decent for a ordinary mass-produced car from the time, meaning that this, despite weighing 3,490 pounds, is far from the slowest car on the game, and fairly reasonable in terms of performance and top speed for an ordinary mass-produced car back in the time. So nonetheless, let's get out there and see what it can do. So yeah, even though this is obviously a big family car, it's hardly the safest vehicle of the time, because as you can see, the rear light there is an addition for this game, and I imagine rollover protection would not be all that great with a wood body. But in terms of performance, it's really rather decent, especially for a car that is expected to carry so many people. 0 to 60 in 16 seconds, and going to a top speed of 95 miles an hour, which is fairly decent, especially again when you consider the 1940 Ford Deluxe coupe that we have on this game as well. Couldn't even do that in terms of top speed, and slightly slower in terms of 0 to 60 time. So despite this being such a large vehicle with only 100 horsepower, its performance is really rather decent, and it was considered back in the time to be one of the best handling ordinary cars. And I can certainly see that, because I have driven far worse vehicles on this game in terms of handling, and the brakes are even fairly decent as well, again for a car of the time and a car that weighs so much as well. So really rather interesting vehicle, quite frankly, especially since we don't have all that many ordinary cars from the 40s. I guess you could say the Mercury Coupe is somewhat of an ordinary car, because this shares a lot of the same characteristics as that car, especially considering Mercury was owned by Ford. And but nonetheless, we don't really have all that many ordinary cars from the time, and it's a shame really, because this is far from the worst vehicle on this game, despite being easily one of the oldest. And it's pretty fun to drive as well, just because of how much of a different time it is from. Though if I was personally going to choose a body style from this period of Ford, I would have gone for a convertible or a coupe version, purely because they'll be lighter, a little bit more fun to drive, and would get the most out of that 3.9 litre V8, because 100 horsepower back in the day is not all that bad, and like I said, especially from a mass-produced vehicle. So really rather wish, like I said, that there were more vehicles like this from the time, because even though this is as old as it is, to have the performance that it has and the handling that it has, and you know, the practicality as well, which it was a big surprise to me when properly looking at this car. It's really rather a well-rounded vehicle in terms of compromises and what it can do from the vehicle from the time. So yeah, just again wish that we'd had more vehicles like this, because yeah, the 40s and back is really rather underrepresented in terms of the car list, either on this game or previous Forza games. And yeah, I would like more ordinary vehicles from the time, and yeah, especially more European vehicles from the time as well, because as underrepresented as cars from before the 50s are on these kind of games, most of them are like American cars, especially from Ford. And yeah, I really would like more cars from either Europe or from other manufacturers. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.